Hey, good morning. It's good to have you with us. We continue to focus on the situation in Zandspruit and generally on the issue of vigilantism in some of our country's communities. So with that said, then let's start with this story. A fifth man has died in Zandspruit following the Vigilante Attack that happened in that area. He and 9 others were attacked in the early hours of yesterday after the community accused them of terrorizing residents. And in the Western Cape, shooting sprees are on the rise. You'll remember 13 people were shot dead in several different incidents in Khayelitsha over the past weekend. Let's speak now to our reporters. Masego Ratlaga is in Zandspruit and Ronald Masinda is in Philippi in the Western Cape. Let's start with Masego in Zandspruit. Masego, just tell me about the latest updates that we have. It seems now at this point there are now 5 people that have died from that incident.
That's the official death toll, Tulas. We understand that a 5th young man passed away at the Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital in Soweto overnight. I spoke to his aunt this morning, who was very emotional, quite angry at some point, actually, Tulasizo, when she spoke about how she called the police at around 5:30 that morning, and the police only arrived at 13 minutes past 7, according to her records on the cell phone. And, she says that's what makes her angry, that they arrived almost 2 hours later when the police station is literally 8 minutes away. She says that even when they arrived here with the 2 police vans, the police officers were pelted with stones, so they were too afraid to go any closer to the crowd that was busy attacking those 9 young men. And she says for her, that's what she couldn't understand. She actually said to me, Tulas, when there are Fees Must Fall protests and she watches on TV how police would, start with water cannons and stun grenades and rubber bullets. She doesn't understand why that wasn't done on that particular morning to at least try and save those boys from dying. So we're speaking to those family members, a couple of them, some of them with their nephews or brother or sons still in hospital. And to my right, Tulas, the families asked me not to show the visuals of them, but ngesintu, Tulas, we say that's your tula umphefumulo womuntu. Wherever the person has passed away in our African culture, some of us go and we pick up the spirit of that person from wherever they took their last breath. And they asked that we don't show those visuals. But that is what I'm seeing some family members do here today. Quite a sad view, actually, to Lasizo, especially looking at the fact that, they are picking up, the charred remains. And they just finished right now. So my colleague, Ditiro Selepe, will show you. They just picked up some of those charred remains. And they were basically saying to each other, they don't know if what they're picking up could be some flesh. They just don't know what they were picking up there. So quite a sad day still to us here in Zandspruit. But I did speak to one of the people whose brother was left injured. He said that they walked into the house. They actually stormed into the home to fetch his brother while he was asleep. And he tried to plead with them not to take his brother away or hurt him. But they beat him up too. He showed me his hand. He has an injury on his hand from trying to defend his brother. And so he says he had no choice but to watch on as his brother was being attacked, and that's what pains him today. And he says although his brother could stand up on his own yesterday when the ambulances came, he's worried that he too might be part of the death toll. So here is one of the family members that I spoke to here in Zandspruit this morning.
Yesterday, if the cops, they did take the action, something like that was not going to happen, because they would come and stand here. They even see the people taking the tires and people bring the petrol to burn those young boys. It was very upset issue that they were standing and doing nothing. Like now, I put this matter into the cops' sense, because if they were there to assist, nothing like this was not going to happen.
Let's bring Ronald Masinda into this conversation. And Ronald, you are also focusing on the issue of violent crime in our country, particularly the aspect that has to do with mass shootings and shooting sprees that we've seen in the Western Cape. And it seems to be on the increase, that particular trend we are seeing in the Western Cape and around Cape Town in particular. What are authorities saying to you?
Well, good day to us. While we are in Philippi East, there's been several mass shootings that have been reported at this precinct, at this police station. We've heard of 6 women that were shot and killed in 2019 at a house not too far from this police station. Last year, around 13 people were killed in a space of 48 hours. But what we've also identified to us is that there seems to also be a spike in businesses being attacked, people who are delivering goods. For example, a 20-year-old white male was gunned down and killed here just a week ago following his trip here to drop parts for a customer. But what I'm going to bring into the conversation, we've been speaking to various people from neighborhood watch groups as well as CPA. Actually going to bring in a victim, someone who has experienced a crime. This male that I'm going to bring now to the conversation was a security guard who was shot 9 times in Kailicha when they were attacked by robbers. Isaac, thank you so much for your time. Baba, kasi palele inkukata ye situation yakoqhubeka ntoni.
Gathola ukulimala ukudubuleka while he was escorting the truck, Blue Ribbon truck, on the 9th of 2017, February. I said they were coming to me, but one of us, they come to me, they said, no, you today, you are dead. Thereafter, you are lying. As I saw this guy, they throw up the firearm. They started to shoot. While they're shooting 8 times, I remind that no, I've got my firearm also because of they shoot, but I don't know where the bullet is going to. I started my firearm. I shot him back. After when I tried to run away, that place there was trying to be escaped too. He is not a way out. They come back to me. When I touch that guy, they've got a bulletproof under the jacket. So now I try to shooting them at the back. When I shooting them, I finish them. They laying behind of our vehicle. The other 2 cars, they're coming over the buggy. The other one, they're coming in front. They shooting back to me. But the other one, they was coming from there in front for me. I was carrying the rifle. He was started to shoot me here on the leg.
So you're still trying to recover, and it does seem like it was a well-planned robbery. But you were not alone there. There was another security guard. What happened to him? And do you suspect perhaps of any inside job?
I can say when I'm realizing after that is happening, no, the truck driver or van assistant of that truck, they was have the knowledge of that incident that was going to be happening. Why as they're standing here at the airport, they come to me, they say, no, Mr. Makaula, we can provide one of the shop there. After that, we can go around to our section. After, we can come here, and later when we finish, here's the last shop. So I said no, why do you not provide all this place bread? After that, we will know that if we must just go clean. But that guy, he was another guy, the way he was dressing. It's looking like the guys who working at that trucks, they collect the waste. Yeah.
Just lastly, has there been any arrests made since the incident? Have you got back to work? What is your current situation now?
My current situation is too bad because of the company. After all of that is happening, they take me away. They ask a lot of questions to me. If why I was surviving. When I tell them no, why do not say thanks? Because of I was taking this guy that was driving the vehicle. He was run away in the first. Nagane and Mr. Ndoza. When they answer me over the radio, I said, no, I don't know where is my partner because of I'm alone here. They said, no, your partner is safety because of he ran away to the PP garage at the site. So I told myself, no, I'm alone. Let me try to get out with this vehicle because of my fear is supposed to be a vehicle because of that vehicle. It is a hired car from Avis. So now the company, they judged me why I'm surviving, and I didn't lose the firearm also. Only my family, they was trying to lose with me because of I've got a lot of injury here, even this. Next to penis, the gunshot. Places.
Mr. Makaula, thank you very much. Let's leave it there. Disturbing account to us of the experience that Isaac Makaula went through in 2017. It was a business robbery, and it sounds like a well-orchestrated robbery where there were two of them as security guards, and one of the security guards left. Now, the question that I was asking him earlier on is, often we've heard of cases of such robberies where it seems to be there's inside jobs where, these criminals are getting inside information from security guards who leave those areas unharmed, and it is often one of the issues that has a number of cash-in-transit robberies throughout the Cape Flats. We've also been hearing of robberies of ambulances, people calling ambulances only to rob them. So the crimes they vary in areas such as Philippi, but also right across townships on the Cape Flats.
Yeah, absolutely. And those stories of trauma are shared by many, many victims of violent crimes across the country. Let me take it back to Masego. And Masego, you had the opportunity to speak to the aunt of one of the deceased in that vigilante attack in Zandspruit. What did she have to tell you?
Well, Tilasiza, this is the aunt of that young man who was confirmed deceased by the Gauteng Police Commissioner Elias Mawela this morning. She says that they received the call this morning. She's the same one, Tilas, that I was telling you about earlier, who was very upset because she says she called the police at around 5:30. They arrived almost 2 hours later. They apparently stayed a bit far away from the actual scene because they were being pelted with stones, and she says that one of the police officers asked her whether she wants to put them, their lives in danger. And she said to them, look, I've seen you guys use rubber bullets and stun grenades and water cannons to disperse a crowd. Why can't you do that with this crowd just so you can save people? I'm watching my nephew being beaten up. She says at some point she literally saw, and I apologize to some viewers, this might be very sensitive. She says she saw, literally when her nephew was being beaten up, at some point the flesh on his back started to tear open. She says she pleaded with the police officers until at some point she heard them, the crowd that was gathering here, allegedly saying that one of them must go buy petrol for 200 rand so that they could start burning those young men. And she says she went back to the police officers to let them know that, the community members are getting petrol. So it seems the community is saying, those who witnessed it are saying that police were here and witnessed this crime as it happened. She and others are saying that police did arrive here at 7:15, and even at that time, these young men were still being beaten up, they were still being pelted, and eventually they were then doused with petrol. But here is the aunt to one of those boys, very angry and very emotional at the same time.
It was very painful. It has hurt us a lot, I can say, as a community at large. And then I'm very painful because of what has happened. Even some, they were mothers, they were here yesterday. They were screaming, shouting and saying, let they die, let they die, let they die. So I don't know, those mothers, even now, where are they today? How do they feel about the thing that happened yesterday? And then even those fathers, those guys who have beat those kids to death and burned them to death, how are they feeling today?
All right, eNCA reporters Ronald Masinda out in Cape Town as well as Masego Ratlaga in Zandspruit here in Johannesburg. By the way, at about 2 p.m., the Police Minister Vigilante is due to deliver the budget vote of that department. Just last week, we had the crime statistics released. One wonders, at what point do we get clear indications of policy and marching orders and resources being invested into some of these communities that continue to experience this kind of crimes, right? A one-size-fits-all approaching to policing, it would seem to me, is clearly not working. You need a kind of policing plan that has to do with rural areas, that has to do with high-density areas where lighting, for example, is a problem, where the streets are not named, where there's no numbering in terms of the houses, and various people live within the same confined spaces, and it's dark at night, and all of those things, and where people are losing confidence in the police. When do we get to have that conversation at a policy level, but also at an implementation level? I wonder.